Hello! In this video, I want to make a new sheath for a knife, and in doing so trying out some new techniques I have not tried before. I'll start by making the wooden part that will later be joined with some leather to complete the sheath. I'm just cutting this out of some pine I had lying around. After that, I'm cutting out a center hole straight through the piece of wood. I'm gonna wet mold some leather to fill the space. So I'm just cutting out that piece. Once I have that piece, I just put some wet leather into the shape, and then I press down on that insert that I cut out. So I'm just clamping this down tightly and letting it rest overnight. And the next morning, I'm just taking everything out, looking at the leather. It's nice and hard, it's dry. So that was pretty good. There's a bit of a mark there, but that will be fine once we add the stain later. I don't think that's gonna show up too much. I'm just test fitting it. Seems alright. After this, I just need to shape the wood further, make sure all the edges are nice and rounded. Here I'm just working it into its final shape. I just glue the two pieces together with a few dabs of super glue, just to hold it for now, because I need to break this apart again to add the leather inserts. Once I break them apart, I'm just gonna paint it. I'm using a traditional linseed oil based paint, and it's got a nice color. It's quite fun to use, but the drying time is horrendous. It takes a long time for it to dry, which actually makes the rest of the process quite slow, just because I have to wait for it to dry so long. But once it's finally dried, I can just test fit the leather inserts, cut them to shape so the knife still can go in through the sheath. Then I just use some 5-minute epoxy to adhere the leather to the wooden part. And I just add some normal wood glue and then glue the pieces together again, trying to line them up as best as I can, which was not super easy, but I think it turned out alright, because I'm just gonna have to shape them later once it dried. And after that, of course, I need to sand it down and just smooth out those edges where they were glued together. Here I'm also cutting a groove for where the leather is going to join the wooden piece. So it's just a space where we can wet mold the leather to hold on to the wooden part of the sheath. And again, adding some more paint, because I had to sand away and smooth out those edges. And again, this will make the drying time quite long, so in the future I'm probably gonna try some milk paint or something else, but I had this one lying around for a while and I just wanted to try it out basically. So next step is I cut out the leather. I just cut it just shy of being able to wrap around fully, and I made some holes down both sides. And here I'm trying cross stitching, which I haven't really tried before, and I think it turned out alright actually. And the reason why you want the leather to be slightly too small rather than too big is that when the leather is wet, it's kind of pliable, so you can actually stretch it to make it fit and then hold it in place with the stitches. And here I'm just molding the leather while it's wet into that groove and just shaping it around the knife and the sheath just to make sure it has a nice fit. The next morning, when the leather is dry, I just come in with some golden brown dye, and then I add some edge coat on the edges at the top and the bottom. And then it's time to give it a final coat of paint. This time I'm mixing it with some mineral spirit to try to reduce that drying time, which worked quite well, but it still takes quite a long time. Here we're looking at the final result. I am fairly happy with how it turned out. Could have gone better, but it was fun to try some new stuff. Cross-stitching was interesting, gonna keep that one around. And doing the wet molded inlays was also quite a fun idea, I think. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and thank you for watching.